On episode 2 of Happily Ever After season 8, we see Nicole run into her man's arms at the airport, pick him up with the sign, and she's trying to kiss him on the lips. He's avoiding her kisses like the plague. Did anyone else find this sus or no? Because Mahmoud has communicated in advance multiple times that public displays of affection make him feel uncomfortable. And even though he's in the United States, not in Egypt, that doesn't mean that he all of a sudden has to conform. Nicole really wants him to be very expressive in public, and he wants Nicole to dress the way he wants her to dress, the way that she originally promised to dress. Because even though Mahmoud gets a lot of hate, and I understand why, he was honest about his intentions in this relationship. He was honest about his expectations of her in this relationship from the get-go. She was the one that flip-flopped. She was the one that all of a sudden changed up. So for him, I think that he should have broke up with her a long time ago, because it just seems manipulative to stay with someone when you're trying to change that person and you're not accepting them for who they are.
I noticed you didn't want to kiss me on my lips.
Does that make you uncomfortable?
Yeah.
There's nothing in the Quran that prohibits men from kissing their wives on the lips, especially after not seeing them for such a long period of time. So I think a lot of fans were surprised when Mahmoud seemed like he didn't want to get intimate at all with Nicole, despite not seeing her for a long time, and she is his wife. As y'all are aware, Mahmoud is a 31-year-old Muslim man from Egypt, and Nicole is a 40-year-old woman from America. Nicole has always labeled herself as someone that's very spontaneous and free-spirited, and you can tell by how she converted to Islam and married this man before reading the terms and conditions and really understanding what that meant to convert to Islam. So instead of following through with what she originally promised Mahmoud, she threw a bunch of hissy fits and decided that living in Egypt and being a Muslim woman wasn't for her. So now she wants him to make the sacrifice to come live with her in LA.
I love you. How are you?
I'm good.
You okay? Come here. Oh, you made this? Mm-hmm. Oh, it's nice.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Nicole's plan in bringing Mahmoud to America is to change him to the version of him that she has in her head. There's that old saying, you can take the man out of Egypt, but you can't take the Egypt out of the man.
After that little incident, though, Mahmoud, I'm putting your ass back on a plane. You go back to Egypt. I don't care.
What?
I know, right? What a wacky thing to do. And how's this plan going of Americanizing this conservative Muslim man? Well, as we can see from the numerous news articles, it's not going great. 90 Day Fiancé stars Nicole and Mahmoud reunite at LAX, silencing relationship rumors. Someone actually recorded them at LAX, that scene when she's running into his arms. It turns out that they had to refilm the hug scene because they didn't get it right the first time.
LAX is closed to the general public 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No entry is allowed except for airline passengers and persons meeting.
So that scene is what we saw in 90 Day Fiancé. However, they made them film it again, and it seems like no matter what take they did, Nicole did the same kind of movements in terms of trying to get a kiss from him.
Mahmoud's in America. I can do whatever I want to him.
She lives like that, I know, but like as Muslim, I'm not like feel good to do that around people.
But let me know what you think about this in the comments. Nicole is very similar to Debbie for me. Debbie definitely has the more likable personality, but both of them play dumb about certain things that we all look at each other and we're like, nah, we don't believe that you're unaware of what you're doing.
What is?
What?
Close your stomach.
What are you talking about?
No.
Mahmoud seems like the kind of guy that even women in Egypt would avoid like the plague. Given the way that he acts, how controlling he is, he's very negative, he's very boring. He even makes a comment about the way that Nicole is dressed because she shows a little bit of her belly button. And she says, don't start, and then he gets really irritated that she told him not to start. Nicole tells Mahmoud in the audience she does know the rules in Egypt, but here no one cares how you're dressed, and she's really celebrating the fact that all of this is occurring on her home turf, but this man's still trying to control her. So I think it's only a matter of time before another fight blows up because how she dresses is one of the main things they've always argued about. Nicole shows Mahmoud how to properly use the crosswalk because I guess in Egypt it's a free-for-all and you have to dodge cars on the way to the other side of the road.
Honey, you gotta shut it hard. Let me show you, okay? It's not like the Egypt cars.
Oh, okay.
It's not like the Egypt cars, Mahmoud. I'm sure they have similar cars to the kind of cars that we have here in the United States, if not the same cars. It's not like they got chariots and camels over there. She's really babying Mahmoud, but it makes sense because now that he's in the United States, she feels like she's in control of him, but when she was in Egypt, she felt like he was in control of her. Something funny happened. So as they exit the airport, Nicole is slamming on the brakes pretty hard. She almost rear-ended a couple people, and Mahmoud turns to her and says, "Are you sure you know how to drive well, honey?" He doesn't feel safe.
I miss like everything about Cairo already. Like, and Cairo, like every single moment, you have a bunch of people around you.
Maybe she should take Mahmoud to a gay club. I'm sure that that would put a smile on his face. I don't know why he went to America in the first place. This was planned months in advance that he would be getting on a plane and coming to LA to live with Nicole. And if he doesn't want to make this sacrifice, he shouldn't have got on the plane.
This is our street. You like it?
It's nice. Very nice.
How dry is this? They got no jokes. They got nothing fun to talk about. He seems very negative. So all in all, I don't know how this is worth. I think the only thing that Nicole gets out of this is this social media career. And I get that she had money problems before going on the show. But I do think that she should have someone that she has more in common with, or at least someone she can have a conversation with. Nicole then tells the audience that she's fully aware of how exhausting the flight from Cairo, Egypt can be, so she wants to give Mahmoud the benefit of the doubt. She's also aware that he really misses his family, but she's hopeful that he can come to like LA and see it as his second home. Fast forward, Nicole and Mahmoud arrive at her apartment. Right away, she's kind of a clutter bug. She's got a mannequin, she's got that area where she does her sewing and makes clothes. What I also noticed is that Nicole did something really fun for Mahmoud's arrival. She got him balloons, but he didn't say anything about the balloons. And right away, I got kind of tilted about that because it's good to show gratitude when someone does something nice for you, especially your wife. When I see shit like this, I understand why there's so many fans that feel like Mahmoud doesn't care about Nicole given the way he acts. He just seems so disinterested in everything she says and does for him. The next thing that Mahmoud has a problem with is Nicole's decorative pillows that are on her bed. He walks in the bedroom and says, "How are we gonna sleep with all these pillows?" And Nicole explains to him that you take the pillows off and then you sleep. And he's like, "In Egypt, we only have 2 pillows. This doesn't make any sense." Mahmoud keeps doing shit like this and it's really annoying to watch. He's pointing out things that don't make sense in his brain and comparing it to life in Egypt. You're not in Egypt anymore, bro. Mahmoud also has a huge problem with this painting on the wall that Nicole made for her bedroom of a naked woman with a hairy cooter. But if it was a man, I don't know if he would have a problem with it.
It looks weird. You don't like your wife's artwork?
No.
I mean, I painted it in art school, and I don't know, it's just like some weird kind of woman. And she has like some hair down there.
Oh, what's wrong, Mahmoud? Is Nicole's painting of the mighty bush bothering you? Maybe you should have done a virtual tour before you moved in. Seriously though, have you guys not FaceTimed these past 5 years? How does he not know what her place looks like? Little hairy cooch ain't hurt nobody. Don't be scared. He feels like the mannequin should be dressed at all times. This is actually a base take from Mahmoud. If you watch a lot of true crimes content and you're afraid of dolls, think about it. You drink a lot of water before bed and you get up to pee in the middle of the night. You're gonna think that this mannequin is another person and attack them, probably punch its head off. If it startles you, I think it's less about what the mannequin's wearing and just get it out of here, you know, put it in a closet or something so we don't have to look at it. Could y'all fall asleep with a mannequin staring at you in the bedroom? Let me know in the comments below. I don't think I could. So Mahmoud goes around pointing out all the things that he doesn't like about her place, and Nicole laughs it off and says, "Well, the mannequin was here before you, Mahmoud, so you're gonna have to deal with it." She's making jokes out of the situation.
It's so nice.
You like it, really?
I think so.
I wanted to get you something so you would go to bed with, you know, some pajamas.
Thank you. That's a little weird. She gets short for me because then Egypt I sleep with my clothes but it's nice of her, of course.
Wait, time out. So he thinks that she's weird for getting him boxers when he sleeps fully clothed every night. You can't make it up.
Do you want to sit down or something?
Yes,
Be careful.
I'm
Be careful.
so tired. I can't take it anymore.
You should have slept on the plane.
Mahmoud's Mr. Grumpy Gills right now because he didn't sleep on the plane. Nicole tells him that he should have slept on the plane, and he's like, I know, honey.
You know what? It irritates me that you didn't sleep on the plane, actually. It really does. But, like, really irritates me.
Yeah, next time I will listen to you. I promise.
I agree with her that he should be more excited to see his wife, but at the same time, I myself am someone that struggles to sleep on planes.
Now that Mahmoud's going through this process, maybe he'll kind of understand more clearly and fully what I went through to do the same thing in Egypt.
Nicole's first attempt living in Egypt with Mahmoud ended in failure. She only lasted a couple months before returning to the United States. Upon returning, Nicole all of a sudden got a call from the producers that informed her they were selected to be on 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way Season 4. So the first time that the audience saw Nicole attempt to live in Egypt with him and his family, it was actually the second time she did so. The last time we spoke about Mahmoud and Nicole, Mahmoud was arrested in Los Angeles on February 20th, 2024, and charged with misdemeanor domestic violence with bail set at $20,000. Fast forward, all the charges were dropped, so the audience is unaware of what ended up happening. However, Nicole and Mahmoud are still together. I'm not sure why, because these two are like oil and water. They don't mix well. Also, all the people talking about how Mahmoud wants a green card, dude doesn't even want to be here in the first place. He's made that very apparent these first couple episodes. You gotta remember, even though he's from Egypt, he's not like Mohammed. From the beginning of the relationship, he made it crystal clear that he wanted to stay in Egypt and be with his family. Nicole was the one that promised to live in Egypt with him and convert to Islam in the first place. Nicole will constantly reference her moving to Egypt as her making a sacrifice for the sake of the relationship and compare her experience to Mahmoud's, but it's not the case because she's not close with her family. One, and two, it seemed like she just did that for the first season of the show to make it interesting, because she had no intentions of living in Egypt. She was negative about it every single episode. But fast forward, I see a lot of people say that Mahmoud's being very negative about living in LA. Absolutely, I agree. It's almost like these two jokers have swapped places. The morning after Mahmoud's first night in LA, Nicole prepared breakfast, and by prepared breakfast, I mean she got him a bunch of donuts. Felt like I was watching an episode of My 600-Pound Life. Nicole tells the audience what we already knew, that Mahmoud was a little grumpy because he was sleep deprived last night, but what we didn't know is that I guess they banged and it was good, and you can tell by how bubbly she is, and she just laughs it off like, haha, last night was really swell.
It's good?
Too sweet.
You want to try this one?
Bismillah.
I mean, I think the sweetest will be those, but
I don't know how you ate it, that.
So much sugar, so bad for you. I don't eat donuts either. I feel like she should have just scrambled eggs and sausage and like a normal breakfast. There's no one in Egypt that is eating a whole plate of donuts like this. Mahmoud then once again goes into a monologue about how he's going to miss Egypt and he loves Egyptian food. He says usually for breakfast they eat falafel, they eat eggs. Let me know what y'all think in the comments about this. It's annoying to see this man constantly compare everything to Egypt, but at the same time, I feel like Nicole is setting him up for failure because she's doing things and feeding him things that she knows he doesn't like. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? This isn't 90 Day before the 90 days. These two have lived together many times over the span of 5 years, so I'm sure she knows what types of food he likes versus doesn't like. Mahmoud goes on to say that he really misses kosheri, and I didn't know what kosheri was, so I decided to look it up in case y'all don't know either. It's a traditional Egyptian staple mixing pasta, Egyptian fried rice, lentils, and topped with zesty tomato sauce, garlic vinegar, garnished with chickpeas and crispy fried onions. It is often served with sprinkles of garlic vinegar, and hot sauce is optional. Mahmoud's talking about how he really misses kosheri. I'm sure that he could get that in LA. I guarantee there's a lot of Egyptian restaurants there or Middle Eastern restaurants. I'm sure that she could find it if she looked on Uber Eats. So I do think there's a lack of effort in the food department, and for Nicole, we gotta pick it up. Mahmoud says to the audience that he loved waking up next to Nicole and he still wants to keep up with his faith, so he's trying to pray at the house when he can. Right away, I can tell this dude's still tired, but the energy levels are way better than last night, but I get it because right when he landed after that long trip, not sleeping on the plane from Cairo, Egypt to LA, he had to film and they had to do multiple takes. So I think that definitely played a factor because this dude isn't as comfortable on camera as Nicole is. And that's a fact. I'm sure that it was more so her idea to go on the show than him. So I think that that was really draining to keep doing the same scene multiple times and have all these people at LAX look at you, and you can tell that he was uncomfortable the whole time. That footage that was recorded of Mahmoud and Nicole at LAX was very interesting to see because I didn't realize that a lot of these scenes were that scripted. I thought that majority of them were taken in one take. Before leaving the house, Mahmoud once again reiterates to the audience that he's not going to change anything about his religion, as he shouldn't, because when she met him, he was a devout Muslim man, just like he is today.
So I think today we're gonna go to Santa Monica Pier. I think you're gonna love it.
Nicole and Mahmoud make their way to the Santa Monica Pier. Once they get there, they decide to do a little shopping.
Oh, it's American football.
You want one?
No,
You're into
I
playing
don't
it?
know how to do that.
Well, as we know, Socks, Mahmoud is 5'6" and around 130 pounds, so he'd make a hell of an offensive tackle. You might want to brush up on your American football, Mahmoud. There could be a future for you in the league.
You need a shirt like this? Yeah? It even has a back, too.
Shut up. What are you doing? I work at myself before. I did that.
This is actually a cute moment for them. As these two are shopping, it's becoming more and more apparent that they have completely different styles. Nicole is all about those colors, and Mahmoud wants nothing to do with all the wacky colors.
So what do you think, Mahmoud?
It's the first day, so it's hard on me.
I know it is. I know it is. And I do appreciate that you moved away from everything you know and love to be with me.
Hey, that's really nice of Nicole. She keeps asking Mahmoud how he's doing with the transition, with the move. And you know what? She is being very supportive about it. I think it's extra hard for him because, like I said earlier, he's really close with his family. Nicole, not as much. So I don't think this dude ever pictured living away from Cairo, living away from Egypt, and not having that support system. It certainly wasn't something that they discussed at the start of the relationship. Nicole goes on to say to the audience that she's fully aware that Mahmoud is missing his family. However, she wants him to be as excited as she is, and she's always been dreaming of building a life together with him, living with him in LA, which is interesting that she would say that, given that earlier when they first began this relationship, the original deal was to live together in Egypt and raise their children there.
Honey, what's wrong?
I'm just told you, honey, I'm just like missing my family. Just say, but there's nothing wrong, okay?
Let me know in the comments what y'all think about this, but I would like Mahmoud to be more open and not as closed off as he is with his wife. You know what I mean? This is supposed to be your best friend that you can talk about anything with. And I feel like he's really riding this narrative of I miss my family so much. And I get that because it's very possible that this is the first time this dude has lived in another place without his family.
But I need you to talk to me.
Yeah.
In order to, for it to get better, maybe I can help you, please?
I just come to here. I'm sure times will change.
But at the same time, he's 31, 32 years old. View it as summer camp. You know, when we were kids and we would go to summer camp, if you did go to summer camp, we would go the whole summers and yeah, we missed our family, but we didn't talk about it every single day. You can always pick up the phone and FaceTime them. It's the 21st century, buddy.
So you barely smiled today at all. So,
I'm
and I just don't want to be, you know, this to be an experience where you just are unhappy and sad and miserable the whole time.
I'm so happy I'm here now.
Nicole, you might want to take a chill pill. It's this man's first day in the United States. He's living in LA with you. This morning, he got a bunch of sugar for breakfast. Right away, he compared it to Egypt. It's like everything that happens, he's comparing to Egypt, not just because it's different, but because there's a lack of effort there. Instead of preparing breakfast, you ordered a bunch of donuts. Instead of making him a nice dinner, you ordered pizza. That looked unappetizing, to be honest with you. So I think that there's a lot of things that he's not used to because remember, this is a man that also lives with his mom.
The meatloaf! We want it now!
Mahmoud's the baby of his family. He's a mama's boy and he's used to everyone doting on him. So I'd imagine this life change is gonna take more than a day to process.
You like that?
Eh?
The girl in purple.
Why you talk about it?
And you know what I saw him? Stop dead in your tracks.
Stop what? Like,
Nicole, let's not blow this out of proportion and tell an outright lie. He didn't stop dead in his tracks. Y'all were walking the entire time. He noticed that girl that was dressing modestly, a Muslim woman that was wearing the clothing that he wanted you to wear and that you originally agreed to wear when he married you. Let me know what y'all think in the comments about this. I don't think he was checking her out as much as just genuinely surprised to see someone dressing very modestly in LA, one of the most liberal cities in the United States. Right now, Nicole's reaching. Foreigners have a certain image of LA in their heads because it's become the place where everyone can express themselves, but to a point where it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Especially for someone from a Muslim country. Socks, the situation gets more loaded. As they're walking, Nicole turns to Mahmoud and says, if you want to be with an Arab woman, then you should marry one. And he says, why am I here now? Like, I chose to move here to be with you. I don't want anyone else. Nicole then says to the audience that she knows her husband well. He got excited and he's stopping dead in his tracks to stare at this woman, and it definitely triggered some insecurities within herself. Right away, I'm going to stop you, Nicole, because your insecurities are your responsibility. It's very possible that he looked at this girl and said, oh, look, there's a woman from LA that is willing to dress modestly. Maybe there's hope for my wife. I'm sure that he was just surprised to see someone wearing that in a place that feels like Sodom and Gomorrah. Nicole then says to the audience that when she sees Mahmoud do things like this, it makes her feel like she's not Muslim enough for him.
So after that little incident, though, Mahmoud, I'm putting your ass back on a plane. You go back to Egypt. I don't care.
what?
Wow, meow, Nicole. You're gonna send this man back to Egypt because he noticed that someone was dressing modestly? That's a gnarly take. That sucks to be living with someone that can sweep the rug out from under you like that. I don't like Mahmoud. He's a skinny little weasel. However, he didn't flirt with that girl. He didn't make advancements toward that girl. And it gets crazier, Socks. After a pause, Nicole looks at Mahmoud and says, if you want to be a little womanizer, you can go back to Egypt. Mahmoud takes a second to process what she just said before saying, okay, whatever, I go. And he does this zesty hand movement, then walks away from Nicole. This is actually on brand for Mahmoud. Whenever he has to sit with an uncomfortable feeling or an uncomfortable conversation comes up, he usually walks away. He's very avoidant. Strap in, Socks, because this relationship right here is gonna feel like a roller coaster. I'm gonna be providing update videos about Nicole and Mahmoud and all the couples on this season of Happily Ever After.